Today in the crypto space, we see a bit of indecision throughout the market. Bitcoin right around $94,500, down approximately 1.5%, and Ethereum right around that $3,300 level, going steady, while the rest of the crypto space, these altcoins are a mix of green and red. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one project, a project that is taking a bit of a break, and that project is called ONDO. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunity, whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setup, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on with this market, because we do see a bit of indecision. You know, in the last little while, the markets have a bit stagnant. Look at the trading volume. Very, very stagnant trading volume. Not something that traders want, right? We want to see volatility. We want to see action, whether it be up or down. Doesn't matter. Sell pressure, buy pressure. At least we can get into trades and start getting active there. But ultimately, in the meantime, we have to be prepared, right? Because we could get some action any moment now. We are leading into the new year very soon, and I feel like the holidays season is still taking a bit of a hold on the way we, behave in this market, which is absolutely normal. People taking it easy in the next little while. And this is absolutely fine, right? Ultimately, we got to be patient here, guys. Bitcoin today is not looking the greatest. It did push down a little bit today, and it's trying its best to hold up. Do we have enough volume to bring it down to much lower levels? Or do we just, hang within the structure? And you can see a lot of these fractals here on other, on the altcoins. A lot of them are still kind of going sideways, as you can see. Not much, decision. Basically, going sideways means that the market is uncertain. And if you're uncertain, and if you have a level of uncertainty, it's absolutely fine to just wait for the confirmations to give you that certainty, because we're not here to gamble, guys. We're here to find an edge. And this is exactly what I want to be doing in the next little while, is making sure that I take full advantage of any edge that I see. I do see a couple of projects doing well. Obviously, BGB is flying. Guys, let it do its thing. I'm not sure what's happening here with BGB, but fundamentally it should be doing good. Now, sideways everywhere, as you can see. I'm not going to get into the details amongst all these projects, but you can see that the price action is fairly stagnant, and so are the charts, given that we do have some good gainers, like virtual right now. Virtual's protocol, based on the AI agents narrative, is doing super well. It is at about a $3.5 billion market cap. In my opinion, for a new entry, a new identity into this space, I think that it's slightly expensive at the current moment. It's a little bit too high up there for me personally, but it doesn't mean that the projects that are being listed on virtuals are not opportunities. They could definitely be opportunities. Okay, so just keep in mind, these AI agent narrative is basically coming in hot, and it could be a good one in the next little while to see a bit of volume. As we keep on going down, we do have a few, like OKB is doing okay, and we do see a TMKX doing okay as well, still grinding upwards. But generally speaking here, guys, the market in general is kind of sideways, as you can see. Okay, so this is a good time for you to either rest or just be DCAing on projects that hit a nice little bottom and you want to buy a bit of a bag. It's totally fine, because we know that a lot of these altcoins have been retracing significantly and are just kind of hesitating at the bottom of the range. All right, guys, let's jump right into some charts. I know you're here to talk about price action, so let's do it. Let's begin our analysis talking about Bitcoin, and then we'll jump right into the ONDO chart, because ultimately I think that ONDO could be a good opportunity, given the whole real world asset narrative coming up hot in the next little while. It could be a good entry, a good scenario to keep an eye on it. Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. Now, Bitcoin, if a Bitcoin comes down for another dip and it comes down to a level of which we induce a bit more fear, we got to understand that currently the fear and greed index is not fearful enough for me to be worried. The reality is Bitcoin is still in a very good, strong state, even here where we are on the daily. However, if we speculate of where the daily could end up taking us, the fact that we got rejected here is not a good look. Let's be real about that. We have a bit of volume right into this level that has been building for the last little while. Now, we start looking at momentum. Momentum is still trekking to the downside, guys. This is the biggest worry that I have here. When I start analyzing charts and I look at, trading potential, this is the worry, because the follow through after the 50% is pretty, strong, especially when you're going in a bearish trend this way. If we start seeing the momentum get right around 30 and even fall below 30, guys, it's the place where you're going to see the biggest correction. It's the place where you're going to get the best opportunities, okay? Especially in a bull run, guys. If we can get down to these levels, again, 87,000 is my first target. I'm happy to go all in at about 87,000, but I am worried about the volume gap below at about 77,000 and change. If the trend keeps on showing strength to the downside here on the daily, guys, it's no doubt in my mind that we're going to be coming down there. Now, if you start looking at the 4 hour has a little bit more character. Let's put it that way. We got rejected here, and we can see that even today we're still pushing down in oversold conditions. The trend right now, EMA is facing down red histogram bars, and we are at a bit of a local bottom based on these bottoms right here. Now the question is, do we come down even further, and do we actually break down and make that lower low for this, big picture ABC type of correction, A, B, C, and when three-wave structure to the downside after a massive impulsive move upwards is absolutely healthy, absolutely fine. And I am interested in accumulating right around $86,500 to $87,000. That would be a great opportunity to accumulate altcoins. Guys, I'm going to be looking at the altcoin market. If that happens, I'll be deploying into a lot of my watch list at that level. All right, guys, so that's Bitcoin. And obviously, as we talk about ONDO, keep in mind that if Bitcoin does this, what we have to understand is what could happen to ONDO. What could happen to the ONDO price? Now, there's always a bullish thesis here. The reality is we can get a nice pivot point structure and bounce to the upside and continue the bull run, and this is done. This is the correction. However, the way things look, I am a little bit skeptical on that happening, as I mentioned. All right, so just keep this in mind. Now, if we jump into the ONDO chart, you can see ONDO also has been retracing. This is the 4 hours, so let's begin on the daily, so we can get a big picture of what kind of performance we've had here on ONDO. ONDO was a great performer. Obviously, this bottom was a great zone. It was a very, very good risk to reward ratio opportunity. And this is where I packed the majority of my bag for into this level when I went for a margin positions to the upside. Then I de-risked right around here. I decided strategically that I wasn't interested in playing games at the previous high, and I got out of risky positions, but I do still hold all my spot. In fact, I bought a good amount of spot with my gains into this level. Now, as you can see, I didn't time the top very well, to the point that we went up for more highs and we got into price discovery, which is all good because my spot bags were definitely, in the green. Now, guess what's happening, guys? We're back testing that level again, to the point that we're back where we're basically more or less in the same area of where I took profit, which leads me to believe that we should be entering a level of support very, very soon. So this backtest is healthy, guys. The backtest basically confirms the horizontal levels of support where we can eventually get another pivot and eventually get another round to the upside in bullishness, right? Obviously for this bull run. Now, I want to stay here on the daily for a second. I just want to express my concern again. And if we match this up with what I said about Bitcoin, look at the momentum slowly trekking down to oversold conditions. This is the biggest issue that I have. Okay, and if you look at the trend oscillator, EMA is facing down still with red histogram bars. The daily's in full control at the current moment, and this is why I am worried about getting into long positions on the 4 hour, because the daily showing us that there's no sense of weakness in these bears at the current moment. Little by little, they're just chipping away at horizontal supports in an environment where there's not even a lot of volume. So what could be happening here? Could the Bitcoin price invoke a more fear into this market to cause the altcoins to dip down a little bit further? Just keep in mind that altcoins, they come down harder when the market is fearful. And the reason being is because altcoins are riskier. Risk on assets sell off more during, fearful moments. So this is what we have to understand, is that, ONDO could be coming down to the next level of liquidity. And if we look at that level based on the volume profile, the majority of the liquidity begins right around the dollar, guys. And it's very possible that happens, based on what we can see on the price action. Now, we also see at about $1.25, we can get some support right into here, but the majority of the volume comes into these nodes right into the zone. And this is where we could get some support. But in the meantime, I'm curious as to how the price reacts. Again, at about $1.25, $1.26, to see if we get any pivot point structures. Now, on the daily, we might not get a massive pivot point structure. What I would be doing is keeping an eye at that level when the 4-hour gets reset. Okay, so let's look at momentum. Momentum already on the 4-hour is already reset, but the daily is still in control, which is a concern for me. However, we do see that this horizontal and this an empty volume gap is so nearby that at any moment we could come down to about $1.27, $1.25, like I mentioned, and get that support off this node. We can even come down a little bit lower. Remember that $1 mark. Based on all of this emptiness that we have, we could definitely come down and enter some good entries right around this zone where we could maximize this opportunity. Now, what would be even more bearish in the immediate short term is literally a bounce here, a dead cat bounce, where we get a couple of these bulls trapped up, then we come down for the low, we start looking for pivot point structures, and then we start moving to the upside. And this is all based on the thesis of the daily time frame, because again, I'm just going to make sure that you understand the momentum here is not oversold yet, and the risk we take getting into fresh lungs at the current moment is that we get a bit of a mean reversion as a bull trap, and then we start coming down for oversold conditions, giving us the best risk to reward opportunities, in a bull run, right? Is when we see the daily momentum finally reset, giving us bullish divergence, inverse head and shoulders in the price action, cup and handles, Adam and Eves, and all of what we look for pivot point structures. Because at this current moment, all we're seeing is dip. All we're seeing is falling price action. And the last thing you want to start doing is trying to catch a falling knife, and not waiting for a structure patiently. Okay, so this is what I see. I'm trying to marry up what Bitcoin's doing on the daily, what ONDO's doing on the daily, what Bitcoin is doing on the 4-hour, and what ONDO's doing on the 4-hour. And you can see that the altcoin market is very responsive, okay, to what Bitcoin does. So if Bitcoin keeps on showing weakness, there's no doubt in my mind that some of these altcoins will come down to lower levels. Okay, let's just keep that in mind. Again, right around this area, I want to kind of zoom out here back and see a bit of these fractals to the left, a nice horizontal support, some bottoms, some tops. I think the daily, again, the daily's the time frame to really keep an eye on. All of these levels right here is really good. 200 dailies all the way, it's too far away. The price is way overextended, the 200 daily. It tends to want to catch up. Maybe it can come up a little bit, closer, the 200 daily, and this thing can kind of chop around here and finally, get its touch and get its, reacquaintance, and then finally start running once again with some strength, some conviction, and obviously where there's less risk for buying into spot and using leverage and all of that kind of stuff, because at the current moment things look a little bit iffy. Now the 4-hour could still give us relief, like I mentioned, okay, but the daily is still in control right now. So this is what keeps me reserved, is the daily time frame. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor, slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setup, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Guys, I'm going to be live tonight at 8 p.m. EST talking about crypto news and price action. Take care, have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.